Yeah, we definitely needed that game on Sunday. There's no question. I thought it was set up for a lot of reasons. I mean, we really were dying for a victory, but we changed the starting lineup to see if maybe some personnel changes, and this is kind of sorry about that, to see if the personnel changes would make a difference. And I thought they did, in some regards, certainly. And so we have some things to build on for the Michigan game on Sunday. And, just looking forward, obviously, to our next challenge. So, questions?
Do you think that going into the Michigan game, coming off a game like that, is really the best way to go into it? And how do you sort of evaluate being able to have a week off? Is that more of a help or a hindrance because you're playing well now?
Yeah, I don't know. Chris Laurie asked me that question, too. I don't know. I mean, it's the way the schedule is. Should we be playing more right now because we came off a good win? I don't know. Or does this give us even more time to just continue to keep building and focusing on with some different kids playing in positions? So, I mean, I really can't answer that question. I guess we'll find out Sunday when the game's over, how things went. But I mean, I don't know. I mean, I do think, it'd be nice to stay in that routine of playing, but we also had we had the Monday, Thursday, Sunday thing going too, and that was a challenge in terms of playing all those games in a short period of time. Sure. I mean, I think, we got to continue to work on the offensive side of the ball a little bit, clean some things up where we can, people are starting to adjust to the space that we're, trying to attack and kind of that spread offense we're working on. And, when they do certain things, we need to be able to adjust our ball screen accordingly, whether it be rescreens, trying to work on rescreens and trying to get a few quick hits in there with some of the kids that we have to start that action. So we'll work on the offensive side of the ball. And then defensively, the one thing Michigan does is run that motion offense. They don't have a lot of plays, so they run a lot of that motion and a lot of flex screen step-off action. And we need to be able to defend their 5-man away from the basket. So that's something we're definitely going to have to work on. Rachel Sheffer does a great job of scoring inside, but more particularly, they do a good job of bringing her away from the rim and trying to go one-on-one, whether it be a three-point shot or a rip and drive against the other team's post player, and that's where they have a lot of advantage in that situation. So, they kind of make you play backwards in some aspects. So we'll be working on those things this week.
Suzy, with Clarissa getting the start and playing reasonably well, do you foresee her staying there, or is that something you haven't decided on?
Yeah, I do, Hundo. The issue with K-Bell was that, we were playing Taylor in that same spot. And, Tay can go to a 4, has played both positions, but mostly a 3, and was a 3 last year on our championship team, so it didn't make sense to kind of move her. But I felt like Clarissa could give us the defensive side of the ball, and she rebounds well, and she's a scorer too. And that was what we were missing. And so we felt like, she had given us good minutes in her 9, 10, 12 minutes she was getting, but the only way we could get her more time was to move Taylor, because we need a three-point shooter out there too. So we moved Tay to the 4 to start, and obviously put Porche at the 2, and I thought it was a really good combination, and she had an opportunity, and I do foresee her staying there, and I think hopefully she'll continue to build her confidence. And I think that first round is, you want to do well, and you probably put a lot of pressure on yourself, and I thought she did a really good job just staying the course and playing within the flow of the game. But hopefully she'll just continue to get more and more confidence and be more productive than she was even in this last game.
Just with kind of a follow-up to what he was asking, the week off, does it give you a chance to refine some things, to retool some things? Because one victory doesn't cure all that ails you, I'm sure.
Yeah. I mean, I still think, it gives us time to shoot a lot of free throws. That's something that, we've struggled with, honestly, Fred. And, we've made some down the stretch we needed. We missed some down the stretch we needed. But we need to do a better job of capitalizing in that situation. And like I said, I mean, it definitely gives us a chance to retool some things, spend more time with that group of kids. And Tay hasn't played a ton of 4, and KB hasn't been on the floor a lot of minutes, so it gives them time to kind of keep continuing to build that chemistry and feed off each other.
The other thing is, in the last 2 games in particular, it seemed like every time you had a bad, careless turnover. It resulted in a 3 the other way.
Yeah.
I'm sure you preach every possession
Take care
counts.
of the ball, yeah.
But does that drive you nuts as a coach?
Of course, yeah. Yeah, I mean, it definitely does. I think we had 16 turnovers in this last game, and there was a couple timely ones. We've had some situations too, and I was talking to Izzo about this. It's like kind of like last year for them in some ways. We're in last second shot clock situations, and a kid that doesn't even shoot threes hits a falling down fadeaway 3, and it's like nothing but net, and we're right in their face. And we've just had a little bit of that, like, I don't know if it's snake bitten a little bit. Kids that Ariel Edwards hit a couple threes, and all she is a driver rebounder. So we've had a little of that. But what that'll allow us to do this week is to, just be a little bit more aggressive in those situations and, try to tighten up the late clock defensive scores and definitely rebounds. We need to be able to rebound the ball. So I thought late in the Illinois game, if we had gotten a defensive rebound, we would have won that game. And I thought it could have cost us this game too, because they were getting some old boards.
Suzy, because each team takes on its own dynamic, are you still kind of looking for what buttons to push with this group to get them to play consistent night in and night out?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely, it's been nice to see Portia step up, and I don't know if she needs to be the 30 points a game, but I mean, that's wonderful and that's great, and we'll take it, no question. If she wants to do it every game for the rest of, from here on out, I'll take it. But I just think just having that aggressive offensive mentality, and now that we've kind of adjusted our lineup a little bit too, Jeremy, it's like we have to build on that, and now you got to maybe push a few different buttons, and then you have other kids that we're playing that haven't been playing as many minutes, so managing their mentality and not losing them, because we're going to need them as well, is important. So we're always in a constant, I think, management of energy and attitudes and engagement, I guess, is probably the best word. And I think every coach in the country is in those situations, whether you're winning or losing. It's about trying to manage a group of people that make sure they have value no matter what their role is.
Can you talk a little bit about your personal relationship with Portia? It seems like it's kind of unique a little bit. You're someone that really is pushing defense, and she's a pure scorer. And just, it seems like you guys sort of ended up having a meeting of the minds a little bit here, but it seems
We've
like
had a few over her 4-year career. She's a great kid, and she's got a tremendous IQ for the game, and I have a lot of respect for Portia. She really does understand what's going on out there. She sees the game really from a coach's perspective. She really does. I think she's built herself into a capable defender. She'll never be a stopper for us, but I think she has, to her credit, I think early in her career, she didn't put a lot of focus on that, and she figured it out that she needed to. And I think she's had 2 back-to-back performances defensively as well as offensively. But yeah, I mean, we've had a few meeting of the minds, probably more with her than any player. Mostly because she's got so much talent. She has so much impact on the team, and sometimes kids don't always realize their value off the court and what kind of abilities they have to bring and unite a team. Portia's a quiet person by nature. I mean, she's kind of very just into her own thing, and just, that's great on some level, but not on a team. You need to be able to reach out to people and communicate. And I think the more she does that, the more vocal she becomes, the more aggressive she comes in that area as a locker room leader, off the court leader, the better we're going to be. And that's always been my challenge with her, is do more for your teammates, be a better teammate, do more for your teammates. And I think she's really, in the last week or so, I think she's really kind of taken that to heart, and it's been obviously effective on the court, and I think our team is responding to her that way too.
You said you said that the Penn State playing small against them really helped because of their size. With Michigan, it seemed like the first time you played them, your size really helped inside. Do you think that this new lineup sort of helps you because they play so inside out and you're sort of going small, or do you think it's better to be more powerful inside?
I mean, I just feel like we were in a position where we're looking at it more from an offensive standpoint. You know, when you look at Penn State, they're huge, and they have, you know, big post players that like to block shots. So for us, spreading the floor and playing more of an offensive game where we maybe went a little bit smaller and tried to bring them away where we were getting more open looks made more sense. So from that side, now Michigan really is built a little more like we are in terms of, you know, their four-man is really a guard that they make a four, and their post players, you know, 6'1" inside, and she can, you know, go in and out. So, you know, I think certainly this starting lineup that we have fits defensively the ability to match up with Michigan, and offensively bodes well too. So I wasn't sure how I was going to go with Penn State, and as you saw down the stretch, there was times when we struggled to get a rebound or, you know, get the stop on the block because those kids are huge. So, you know, it's 6 of one, half dozen the other, really. But I did think we found a way, and I think guarding space is very hard. So going to Michigan, to answer your question, going to Michigan, I think that this starting lineup bodes well and matches up well with their, you know, the way they start the game as well.